Hello to all my wonderful constituents in Maryland's 8th District and beyond. Hello to the people of Maryland and everybody tuning in for my favorite time of the week, Local Heroes, when we get to recognize the people who are getting us through the nightmare of the COVID-19 crisis. And today I get to recognize a wonderful Marylander from Gaithersburg, whose name is Beth Taylor. And Beth has been volunteering in different food organizations, anti-hunger groups for 7 years. And she's done a lot of work with Manna, which nominated her, and also Community Food Rescue. And for all of your magnificent, selfless devotion and commitment to feeding our people, Beth Taylor, you are our local hero this week.
Thank you. You're making me blush.
And look, the first thing is that I got to ask you, how did you get into the whole food service anti-hunger world? How did that start?
Well, when I retired, I decided I wanted to give back to the community. And so I went to the Montgomery County government website. They have a volunteer page, and there are a number of charities listed there who are looking for volunteers. And I saw Manna listed, and I thought, wow, these people are feeding people who are food insecure. And that sounds like a wonderful opportunity. And it was a little more physical, working in a warehouse. So that was an allure. And so I contacted them, and they said, oh yes, please volunteer with us. And I just got started, and they are wonderful people doing wonderful work. And I'm so happy to be a part of it.
Yes, I think Jackie was the person who nominated you. But I understand that you do just like a dazzling array of things for them. I mean, you pack food, you unpack food, you serve food, you move stuff, you cart it around, plus you do administrative stuff, office work, paperwork. Is that right?
Yes, that's right. That's right. For both Manna and for Community Food Rescue.
Right. So then we learned in the meantime, you're also volunteering for Community Food Rescue. So tell us about that, because that's not as well known maybe as Manna to all of my constituents. Tell us about Community Food Rescue, what they do and what you're doing.
Right. Community Food Rescue wanted to reduce the food waste in Montgomery County. And so they contact organizations with food, say a caterer or a deli or somebody like that, and they match them up with people who need food, organizations that need food, say a church soup kitchen or something, or Manna. They also give to Manna. And they recruit drivers, runners they call them, who will get the food from the people who have it to the people who need it. So that's essentially what it is.
So tell us about how the nature of the anti-hunger service groups has changed under COVID-19, both in terms of the level of demand and then also people just literally not having access to food because they're either afraid to go outside or have no way to shop.
Yeah, it's really heartrending. Before COVID-19, it was pretty routine. You go into the warehouse and prepare the produce, and they have a sheet on the wall that tells us how many produce boxes we have to prepare that day for distribution in the afternoon. And we've just seen those numbers creeping up as COVID takes hold. And so many people are out of work. It's just been heartrending. It really has. Before COVID, we might have, I don't know, probably a dozen caseworkers, because only caseworkers can come to the warehouse to pick up food. The participants have to go to a distribution center like the one in Silver Spring. So we would maybe have a dozen clients from caseworkers come in and pick up, and that would be maybe a page of names.
Mhm.
Yesterday, I was sitting at the desk and distributing food to the caseworkers, and it was 3.5 pages of names. It was an order of magnitude higher. It's really, it's so sad.
I keep reading stories of people who used to be regular donors to Manna and other groups like that now depend on the groups in order to get their families through. Um, because the unemployment has affected millions and millions of people across the country, and hundreds of thousands of people affected by it in Maryland. And people are running out of cash. Um, so it's a real problem. So these groups are a lifeline, as they say. Tell us how you experience your work. Is it rewarding for you? Is it difficult? How do you feel about it?
Oh, it's really wonderful. The administrative stuff is not as hard. It's great because I'm able to use some Excel skills that I learned at work and keep them sharp. The warehouse work is much more physical, and I'm still happily able to lift those 50-pound bags of potatoes. So I try to keep myself in shape, and that's one way to do it. And we shift a lot of boxes of cans of soup and that kind of thing. So it's very physical, but
Yeah. Well, I know that you don't speak for Community Food Rescue or for Manna, but is it your sense that they are still taking volunteers as well as contributions? We know they need contributions of food and money.
oh,
But
most definitely.
people,
Yeah, before COVID, the volunteer corps was pretty stable. You'd see the same faces over and over. Post-COVID, some people felt a little less comfortable coming in. They were a little older, had pre-existing conditions, and just didn't feel that they could volunteer. But it's been amazing how many people have shown up to volunteer. I see new faces every week, and it warms your heart that there's so many community members who are willing to come out. And it is a risk. There is some risk.
but
And
everybody's masking and you're maintaining social distance.
everybody's masking. We maintain social distancing. We have workstations, and so it is safer. Definitely, they take donations. That hasn't stopped. I took some donations yesterday when I was working. They have large blue bins outside, so you don't actually have to come in to the warehouse. If you're not comfortable doing that, you can just drop your donation in the blue bin, and that's all you have to do. And that's on Gaither Road.
On Gaither Road. Well, look, the groups are Manna and Community Food Rescue, and Beth Taylor is our local hero for devoting herself heart and soul to the success of these groups and to feeding our community during a really tough time. So you're our local hero. I hope that everybody Facebooks this and tweets it and sends it all over the world, because Beth, you're amazing. And we understand that you do share the famous name of Elizabeth Taylor, but you prefer to go by Beth.
That's
right?
true.
Just so there's no confusion.
Yes.
It was never an ambition of yours to have a dozen spouses or whatever it was.
No.
Well, look, you make us real proud. So thank you very much. And I hope you wear your local hero title this week with a lot of pride.
Well, thank you for having me.